Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be, let your failures go. In other words, if you got a relationship that's ended, you got rejected by a girl that you liked and you asked her out, or maybe, even worse, you were dating a girl that you really liked, and for whatever reason, you did several things wrong that turned her off and then got you rejected. Obviously, getting over a breakup or getting dumped or getting rejected is not easy, especially at first. Now, when I look back at my life, the fact that I've been married once, I've had several long-term relationships, I've been out on thousands of dates over my lifetime, I've interacted with thousands of different women practicing my skills, and also coaching and interviewing, interacting, helping men and women around the world, thousands of them, improve the quality of their lives, and not only their lives in general, but obviously their relationships. I can tell you that it gets easier to get past a breakup or to get past a rejection. And if you're a guy that's just starting to try to get over your fear of approaching women or talking to women, what you got to understand is repetition is the mother of skill. And you have to interact with enough different women, go out on dates, and go through the process of applying the skills and stuff that I talk about in my book and also in my articles and videos, because that repetition is the mother of skill. And the more you do it, what happens is, like initially when you first start approaching different women, is that you approach a lot of them that you have absolutely no chance with. But over time, as you interact with them and your skills of observation improve, and you start to see the patterns. And what happens is, the more you do it and you start to see the patterns, then literally just by looking at women, you'll be able to tell whether you got a shot with them or not. And when you get really, really super good, you'll literally be able to just look at a woman's eyes and you'll know if it's going to happen or not between you and her. And that's how powerful it is. It's almost like you become psychic. It's just this moment has just been divinely orchestrated, and nice to meet you. And it just happens, and you go with the flow. And I got an email here from a guy who acted really needy, did a lot of stupid things after he broke up with his girlfriend, said a lot of harsh things to her, and she's since changed her number. But obviously he's thinking about, what can I do? At this point, he wants to apologize to her, but what I would say more than likely is he really just wants to get back together with her. But the good news is he's interacting with new women, and he's he's going out on dates, but what he's finding himself doing is, like every girl he goes out with now, he's comparing to his ex. Now, the reason that happens is, it's for obvious reasons. We want to find, because what is our fear? Like, I know, like, when I decided that I was going to leave my wife back in the 90s, my biggest fear was I wouldn't find anybody else, or worse, I'd find somebody that didn't love me as much as she did, or that was somebody that was as much fun as my wife was. But over time, that's just an irrational fear. And so what I've learned in my life is that each relationship that ends, or each interaction that doesn't go the way you wanted it to, or doesn't end the way you wanted it to, each one prepares you for the next. And so the way you got to look at it is, there's 6.5 billion people in the world, and about half of them are women, so you got about 3 billion other women that you can potentially talk to. Obviously, not all of them are single, but, you couldn't, if you spent the rest of your life asking out every single pretty available girl who was single in the world, you'd never be able to get through it all. And so when your odds are pretty good of meeting somebody new if you're sitting around crying the blues or feeling sad about the girl that you really thought you had a chance with and you blew it, or she turned you down, or your ex or your ex-wife, you're broken up and you're feeling bad over the fact that it's ended. But the good news is the numbers are in your favor that you're going to find somebody new. And if you practice what I teach, I guarantee you that you will meet someone 100 times hotter and 100 times better suited for you and your personality type. So he says, hey, Corey, I was wondering when I should try to make contact with my ex. We first broke up when I was very immature and confused. I said some harsh things. She changed her cell phone number since then. I've not made any attempts to contact her. Smart guy, by the way. However, I want to apologize to her for my immature ways and actions. Why? I mean, she's changed her phone number, and obviously if she felt it was important that you have her phone number in case you want to contact her in the future, she would have given it to you. So if you want to apologize internally. But if I were you, I would resolve to do the necessary work on yourself to not only read my book, but to improve your skills so you can improve your success with women and improve the caliber of women that you're able to attract in the future. He says, however, I'm not sure how or what to say that may convince her that I mean what I'm saying. The key is to let it go. I mean, the past is the past. There's not a damn thing that you can do about it. The only thing you can do is choose right now in this moment who you're going to show up as. I mean, it doesn't matter if you were a total douchebag your whole life up until this moment that you're watching this video. The point being is that not only this moment, but all of your future moments are completely fresh. It's a fresh slate. And so in each moment from this point forward, you get to choose who you're going to show up as. So just try to get a little bit better today than you were yesterday, and repeat that going forward. He says, I accept the fact that we will not be together, but we shared a lot. He says, I would like to remain friends. I think that's bullshit, dude. What you were trying to do is that's what guys say. I want to be your friend. What you really want is you want to get back in her pants. You want to get back together with her. That's what the real reason behind that thought is. It's because you haven't met anybody new yet, but it's still fresh because it only obviously happened here in November 2011. She's never contacted me or talked to me since the breakup in November of last year. I made the mistake of chasing a dream, and I chased it out the door. Like I say, chasing women always guarantees rejection. It's needy behavior because basically when you chase women, you're basically communicating, I'm not worthy and I think you're going to probably reject me anyway, so I'm going to try to run after you in hopes that I convince you not to reject me. And that's what they show in TV and movies all the time, but you try that in real life, you're going to get rejected. I am learning from you slowly and have made it a point to try and read your stuff daily, even if I reread something. I just don't know what to do. I also am currently seeing someone else, and I find myself comparing her to my ex. Is that normal? Of course it is. There's an old Eagles song called Johnny Come Lately, and there's a part in the song where they say, they will never forget you until somebody new comes along. And so right now you're in that period of fear of the future. You were, God, am I going to find anybody better than my ex? Oh my God, I lost this most amazing woman. But, there's another bus every 15 minutes, and each one gets better than the next one. And obviously, that relationship at some point in the past, you stopped putting your best foot forward. And obviously, because it wasn't all cracked up that you thought it was. And obviously, that's a big reason why you guys broke up. You just weren't matched together properly. So that's why it's important to start practicing the things I teach on new women so you can start improving your skill. And so at some point in the future, by improving yourself and becoming better, if you happen to run into her, think about it this way. If you're sleeping and dating with a lot of different women that are calling you and you're trying to decide which ones you're going to be able to fit in your schedule and which ones you're going to have to break dates with. I was talking with a client of mine yesterday who I started coaching almost exactly a year ago at this particular time. And he was in a major dry spell. He hadn't gotten laid in forever. And now he's got women blowing up his phone. He met a stripper. He was with a buddy of his a week or two ago. And they ran into a stripper, and she got both of their numbers. And his friend, as he's talking to, was like, oh yeah, she called me, but I haven't called her back yet. But guess what? She called the guy that I'm coaching. And he said, hey, have you talked to my buddy? And she said, yeah, he called, but I was busy when he called, and I haven't called him back. And so he ended up setting a date and going out with her and banging her on the first night. And he's dating 2 or 3 other different women, and he was cracking, and we were talking the other day, we were laughing about this. I said, I told you this shit was going to happen, didn't I? And he's like, yep. And so what happened just recently was that he had his weekend was full, and a girl was coming into town, and she wanted to see him, and he's just like, just let me know. He's like, I'd love to see you, but I can't. I got plans this weekend. And she was obviously bent out of shape and kind of pissed off. He's like, you just got to let me know more than 2 days before you're coming into town. And so when those kinds of things are happening in life, do you think you give a shit about the chick that didn't call him back or the girl that he hasn't heard from? It's like, of course not. His biggest problem is he's worried about, who am I going to have to disappoint tonight? Because I got several girls that want to go out with me, and obviously there's only so many hours in the day. I mean, that's a great problem to have. And so you forget about, the ex-girlfriend or whatever, and so that's why you got to get busy practicing to meet new women, and so you can work up to it. Because when you get into a place where you're in an abundance mentality, where my client is now, it's even easier to meet new women because you're confident, you're not worried about rejection or losing out on anything. So he says, I want to assure myself that I don't lose another one. I'm 40 and I feel I have a big heart. I'm a giver and I like to spoil the person I am with. How do I break myself of that? Simple. Decide to, and then act accordingly. You need to learn some emotional self-control. He says, what is it? He says, I want to know, because you got to look at it. The past does not equal the future. Like I said earlier, it doesn't matter if you were a total douchebag up until this moment. Each moment from this point going forward is a fresh new moment that you can create who you are and the life you want. So if you find this message of value, you can show your appreciation by going down to the Wibbia toolbar, which is at the bottom of your screen if you're watching this video on my website, and click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information in this video. At the very least, please share this page with all your friends and family by clicking any one of the social network sharing buttons, which are also located on the Wibbia toolbar at the bottom of your screen. And if you have a question that you'd like to ask me, or there's a topic that you'd like me to cover in a future video newsletter, click the Contact Me tab on the left-hand side of your screen and send me 3 or 4 paragraphs detailing your situation. And just give me several days to get back to you because I get a lot of email from the internet and I have to take care of the emails from my paying customers first. But be patient, I will get back with you. And if you'd like to talk to me right away, you can book a paid phone coaching session with me personally by clicking the Products tab at the top of your screen and following the instructions. And I will talk to you soon.